What up, guys? I am here for a halfway report of the Iron Warriors Series Season 3, as I feel like it's pretty appropriate. Now, I never had this thought in my mind as to what to do, but some complicated things going on right now, so I'm taking not really a break. I'm still painting some of the cars for Las Vegas, but in the meantime, might as well do a halfway report, and I wrote a bunch of stuff down, so to keep note of everything that's been going on in the first half, because a lot happened in the first half of the season. You do not believe it. Especially with some stuff that's been noted by some of the drivers, team owners. So we're going to go through that and more with some news, and then we will talk about the top 10, the point standings, break it down, going into Las Vegas. So without further ado, this is the halfway report. Alright, boys, so to start off the halfway report, let's talk about some of the teams and what has been going on with them lately. So, first bit of news. The news that Roland Heidfeld, the Season 2 champion of the Iron Warriors Series, will not have Ford Performance as a sponsor for Season 4. Now, actually, I never confirmed Season 4, but you know what? Yeah, I was never against the idea. It's just that, sort of breaks in between. But anyways, it's something for another time. Yeah, Heidfeld is done with Ford Performance will not return to Heidfeld's team for the fourth season. And they're currently looking for replacements, so, well, apparently one of the sponsors is Enyos, as they'll be slated for the Cora panel sponsor for basically Vegas and some other selective races. Alright, now next bit of news that we're going to be quick with this one, because Cropley just keeps adding drivers over and over and over again. At this point, fuels are getting a bit too big. I'll probably discuss that bit of an issue some other time, probably sometime after the Indy race, which will be a while, depending on the schedule of how these races go out. So, first thing is that apparently some guy named Jay Bilzerian, which I swear I've heard his name before, is making his way into the series. I don't know why he keeps showing up this late at this point, but it is what it is. And a Burger King paint scheme, so see how that goes, and you'll be starting at Vegas. And another guy, what the heck was that? Yeah, so as there's also an Akiko Yoshida, whoever that is, who is also making an entry for Fisher Smith. Jeff Fisher already joined in the series. Not gonna spend much time on this news. There actually is one more guy that he threw in there for Chang Motorsports, named Bobby Santiago. I know Ronnie and Santiago is doing pretty well and just won the Clash race, but I mean, come on. But anyway, story for another time. Oh yeah, and a bit more news, or sorry, one more news as before we get to the top 10 and the point standings, as Lincoln Denmark, despite being second in points going into Las Vegas, right behind his teammate Heimway King, Lincoln is going to be out for the Vegas race for surgery, as apparently, I guess they missed something, or must have some sort of lingering effects from the big crash at Bristol, which I think was late in the race with that big one in turn 3, and will be out for that race. So he will be replaced by the co-owner of the team, what's the name? Sumugi Shirogane. That's in the name, Denmark Shirogane Enterprise, and as such, they're going to, as such, she will be driving her own car with his points for that race. So that's about it. Alright, boys, so now it's time for that top 10 in the point standings. Get the halftime report on who's currently in the top 10 in the point standings. Coming in at number 10 is Kinya Makudu, driving for Con Lemon Racing. Now, this is quite the odd season, to say the least, as I forgot how the first race went for her, but the second race was quite chaotic, mainly because of Derek Jeter taking her out a bit as he misjudged turn 3 and wound up out of the race. But other than that, she was able to pick things up. She started leading laps at Phoenix and actually had a good shot at the win until, finishing third, I think, around there. And then not only that, was, leading a few laps at Rockingham the next race, and that didn't go so well either. Bristol doubleheader was a bit meh, but it is what it is. So she's here at number 10. Quite the rise from McKinney. Actually, no, she's been in top 10 almost the whole season so far, but congrats to her. Alright, 9th in the standings, 73 points behind the points leader is Chris Fortin, driving for Colin Cropley. As, yeah. I felt like Fortin wasn't doing that well, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it was like silently good, or maybe I just keep forgetting. But, you know, it is what it is. And apparently, he actually almost won at Phoenix, leading quite a few laps, until, and in fact, it looked like he had in the bag on that last restart, only to fall short to the debuting Giselle Alves. But, yeah, other than that, quite the season so far, doing pretty well for Cropley's team. And in 8th, we got the loose cannon himself, Kerry Spinner, about 72 points behind the points leader. And yeah, his alliance with Connor Lemon has been quite the help so far. Now, I talked about Fortin having a silent season. Well, I scratched that. Spinner's had this silent season. At least Fortin was, you know, close to winning races from time to time. As though he wound up wrecking up at Phoenix amongst all that chaos. And like, I don't know, like he got a nice 5th place at the season opener, which I think is what helped him stay up in the points. And, you know, see how he does going into Vegas. And 7th, we got good old Mitchell Hodak, the second-hand man, basically the first guy to be brought in by Colin Cropley. Now, not much to say about his season. It's been fairly mixed, but, you know, he's 68 points behind. He's gone pretty far in this. We'll see how it goes for Mitchell Hodak. Alright, now in 6th place, we got good old Carson Kukowski. Now, this guy, well, let's go through this in order, shall we? So, so the main highlights was, running third at 5 flags, or at least he was running third at a time, only to clear himself in dodgy dive bomb in turn 3 on the final lap, no less. And, you know, yeah, that didn't go so well. Wound up finishing a bit lower. But it is what it is. And, you know, he was able to, you know, I don't know, like, and he wound up riding the wall at Phoenix. There was just crazy chaos there in that race. It's amazing he was able to really get any sort of finish at all. You know, he's 4 points behind currently. Sort of mixed bag throughout the season. And he just won at Airbase Speedway amongst all that chaos. Though people are not going to credit that considering the chaos that went down. But, you know, hopefully, let's see if Kukowski get, you know, another win to really, you know, solidify his star power. Alright, now in 5th, 50 points behind, is Derek Jeter. Now, this guy's season has been a bit rough because, well, amongst the chaos that went on, apparently people saw him as causing a bunch of accidents. Well, I mean, Aubrey Scott was just crying wolf like Austin Dillon style. But anyway, yeah, he did take out Makudu at 5 flags. But since then, actually, he's been fairly good at finishing races. Even though I think he, you know, probably been some, you know, a few incidents or so. Fairly, you know, he's been staying up front. That's, you know, pretty good. Let's see how he does here for the rest of the season. And now 4th in the standings is Season 1 champ, Josh Lee. As, start off pretty strong, finished right up at Hillside at, you know, season opener. Then he basically dominated 5 flags on his way to victory. And then, well, honestly, then a few steps back with Phoenix, but it is what it is. Did not stop his momentum, as here he is 4th in the standings. And then in 3rd in the standings is Trey Network Studios. I don't know what it is about Trey Network Studios, but that dude's just been running up front, staying consistent throughout the season. As, well, his biggest highlight so far easily has to be 5 flags, where it was basically him and Josh Lee and Trey 1-2 throughout the entire race. And, like, Trey tried to catch him, wasn't enough, but hey, it's brought him this far. Let's see how he does from here on. And 2nd in the standings currently is Lincoln Denmark himself of Denmark Shirogane Enterprise. Now, this guy had a alright season, mixed season in Season 2. Is what it is. This sophomore season, what a start. He formed a new team, Denmark Shirogane Enterprises, brought 2 full-time guys along to run the whole season alongside him, and oh boy, did he start off like a rocket. He won at Hillside, then he'd go on to finish 5th in 5 flags, even though there was some chaos in front of him. Still, take it as it is. Then he just kept on going with that momentum. Well, unfortunately, like I probably stated some other time, well, unfortunately, yeah, Denmark is out for surgery for the Vegas race, but it is what it is. See what happens. And that stuff happens. But you'll see how he does when he recovers. Hopefully he'll still be in contention for a title, but that all depends on how the first place guy in the points does. And speaking of, oh yeah, and the current points leader coming into this race is Heim Wayne King of Denmark Shirogane Enterprises. And yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't think he was doing that good, but I don't know. Apparently, like, he was able to, I think the season started off a bit rough. I mean, he finished with a miserable 19th at Hillside. And then at Five Flags, he wound up finishing 10th. But then from there on, he just started kicking it up a notch. Like, I remember at Rockingham, he was running really strong there, especially with Sonya Nevermind in the booth for him. And then in the then the Bristol doubleheaders are pretty chaotic. Though he was able to win at the second Bristol dirt race. And now here he sits in the points lead. Let's see how he does going to Las Vegas. And that is your halftime report for this season, or for this, halfway report for Iron Warriors Series 3. As there's going to be a lot more. Geez, wow. There's going to be a lot more news in regards to what is going on with Indianapolis, because that was supposed to be like the big marquee event, And it's the longest race, so there's more to it, and double the points. But we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, yeah, that's it from me. Yeah, that's about it.